Welcome back to Bringing Children Home. In today's episode, we'll explore one of the most delicate and emotional aspects of Hague cases in Italy, the role of the child's voice. For many parents, this is both a source of hope and of fear. You may wonder, will my child be heard? Will the judge listen to them? What if they say they want to stay? Let's walk through what really happens in Italian courts so you can understand how children's views are considered and how judges balance them with the convention's goals. Why the child's voice matters. The Hague Convention is designed to protect children by discouraging abductions, but it also recognizes that children are not objects to be moved around. They are people with feelings, relationships, and preferences. That's why the convention allows judges to consider a child's objections, provided the child is old enough and mature enough to form their own views. In Italy, this principle is also supported by national law, which gives children the right to be heard in proceedings that affect them. When children are heard. So when does a child actually speak to the judge? In Italy, the general rule is that children over the age of 10 should be given the opportunity to be heard, but younger children may also be heard if they show maturity. The hearing usually takes place in a private, child-friendly setting. The judge may be assisted by a psychologist. The goal is not to interrogate the child, but to listen, to understand their thoughts and feelings without pressure. How judges evaluate objections. But here's the key. A child's words are not taken at face value. Judges ask, are these opinions genuine, or are they the result of influence or pressure from the abducting parent? Italian judges are very sensitive to manipulation. If a child repeats phrases that sound rehearsed or shows signs of coaching, the court will notice. On the other hand, if a child expresses consistent, clear, and independent views, the judge will take them seriously. An example, anonymized. A 12-year-old boy from Spain was retained in Italy by his father. When the case went to court, the boy told the judge he wanted to stay in Italy. But as the conversation continued, the judge noticed that the boy repeated the same phrases his father had used in written statements. He struggled to explain his reasons in his own words. The court concluded that his objections were not independent and ordered return to Spain. This example shows how carefully judges analyze a child's voice. They respect it, but they also test it, balancing the child's voice and the convention. The hardest part for parents to accept is this: even if a child objects, that does not automatically decide the case. The Hague Convention places return as the default. The child's voice is one factor among others. Judges must balance it with the broader goal of discouraging abductions. If a child's objections seem influenced, or if the child is too young, the court may decide return is still in their best interest. The emotional impact on parents. For parents, this can be frightening. You may worry. What if my child has been turned against me? What if the judge believes them? It's painful to think of your child saying they don't want to be with you. But remember, judges know that children can be influenced. They look for the truth beneath the words. Your role is to provide evidence of your bond with your child, the stability of their home life, and the disruption caused by abduction. That context helps the judge evaluate your child's voice fairly. From fear to understanding. Instead of fearing the child's voice, think of it as part of the process. Judges are not looking for excuses to deny return. They are looking for the truth. And truth is found in a combination of documents, facts, and careful listening. Final thoughts. Let's recap. 1. Children may be heard in Italian Hague cases, often if they are 10 or older. 2. Judges listen carefully, often with psychologists, in a supportive setting. 3. The key question is whether objections are genuine or influenced. 4. The child's voice matters, but it is balanced against the convention's goal of discouraging abduction. 5. Understanding this process turns fear into perspective. In our next and final episode, we'll talk about appeals in Italy, why the Supreme Court of Cassation plays a unique role, and why choosing a cassation lawyer from the beginning can make all the difference. Outro music fades in thank you for listening to Bringing Children Home. If you found this episode useful, I invite you to follow the podcast so you won't miss the next ones. You can also visit my website at www.cecatiello.it for more resources, and connect with me on Instagram and LinkedIn, where I share insights and updates on international family law. See you in the next episode.